Hello, and welcome to another episode of Todd Talks. And Todd Talks people listen, hopefully. All right, it's time. After weeks of waiting, and I've honestly been waiting for this one for a while, it's time for our reaction to Avatar Aang versus Edward Elric, Avatar versus Full Metal Alchemist. And I was right! Yeah, baby! Alright, Aang won. And it was actually a very fun fight, full of a lot of bending and alchemy goodness. And I was happy to say that a lot of the things that I stated in my preview video, I'm glad that some of you watched it, thank you, was correct. The key thing among them being the avatar state and just how utterly broken that thing was. Because obviously, when you have 181 avatars before you, because Aang's number 182, that's a lot of experience over 10,000 years, and some of them have faced things a lot worse than Edward Elric. And even if we just used Juan's faced like evil spirits and everything. So there you go. As for my thoughts on the battle itself, it was fun. The voice acting was good, and they had some really fun ones for Aang and Elric. Yes, I'm still just calling him Elric. It's much easier for me. I will say that there were times when I was wondering like how this would go, but and the ending, I'm a little bit mixed because on one hand they really played it well, especially after Elric lost his arm, because you're like, well, how's he going to transmutate if he can't do the clapping thing? And it's like, oh, well, he could still do the transmutation circle. That was clever. And then they used the seismic sense to note where he was, and there was a feint of sorts, and I love that. And then, of course, Aang broke to the Avatar state. Like when Elric said, "Huh, I can't believe that worked," I literally snapped my fingers and went, "It didn't," because I knew Avatar State Aang was coming, and sure enough. And I love that they did the reference to the final battle with Ozai, which actually they only barely referenced in the video. I was actually a little surprised by that, but I guess they can only fit so much into a breakdown, I suppose. But yeah, though the ending strike was a little vague. I mean, it made it look like he was just doing like a combined elemental attack. It's definitely not one of the better finishing blows, but what are you gonna do? So, but the rest was fun. I didn't know Full Metal Alchemist, so I wasn't sure. Like, I didn't look up how the Philosopher's Stone worked, and I'm glad that that didn't play a part into it, because I was wondering, wait a minute, is that his version of the Avatar state? And oh, it's apparently souls. Okay, hey, it's anime. I mean, is anything really up for grabs? Is it? I mean, out of bounds for an anime? Um, So, but yeah, I was glad to see all the breakdowns of Fullmetal Alchemist, and there were points where I'm like, man, this might be closer than I thought it was. I was telling people in the comments of my preview video, I thought it was gonna be close, but when it came to Aang and the Avatar state, I just knew they would. I just truly felt, I didn't know obviously, but I felt that they would pull it off, and so that's where it is. And even Death Battle admitted that technically speaking, Elric had a lot of advantages over Aang, but combined, it was with the Avatar state. He was just too much. I do argue about the combat experience thing. They mentioned that Elric has more combat experience. I'm not sure I agree with that, because we're taking composite Aang, which means you have to include Korra, which they did reference when they said that he beat Yokon, who was a bloodbender in Aang's later years before he died. So you could argue that he actually has more battle experience, but because of his pacifistic nature and the fact that once he was done with Ozai, that he didn't fight as much, I guess you could make that argument. It just depends on how you interpret it, I suppose. But it obviously didn't matter in the end. But yeah, Avatar, Aang won. Avatar is now 2-0 in death battles because of Toph, and I'm curious about what the next character they bring in is, because the obvious ones are either Korra, the next Avatar after Aang, or Zuko. I could see there was a community death battle a few years back, I think, and it was Korra versus Storm from the X-Men, and they're all about those unique matchups, and I think that could be a fun one. Um, and I would actually give the advantage to Storm in part. That's another topic for another day. As for Zuko, I don't know who they put him against. I think, isn't there a fire guy from My Hero Academia? I don't know, but there's a lot of potential. But anyway, happy that Aang won. Actually, big relief off my shoulders. And if you haven't seen it, there's this rap battle that ties into Death Battle unofficially, of course, but it's Aang versus Edward Elric in rap battle. Look it up; it's actually really good. I was playing it in my head all day, waiting for the battle to come. Next time on Death Battle, Ghost Rider, Lobo. Oh my gosh. Okay, now I know some of you are like, oh man, but it's another Marvel versus DC fight. This is an atypical battle of DC and Marvel. These are not the prominent heroes that you would see. In fact, Ghost Rider is specifically an anti-hero, and Lobo's a dick. All right, Lobo's pure villain slash some occasional anti-hero. Okay, and this is a very curious matchup because both of these guys can't die unless under very specific circumstances. Okay, so how are you going to determine which one of these two riders die? That's going to be the fun, and I'm excited. I love Ghost Rider. I liked the Nicolas Cage movie, the first one, not the second one. The second one was horrible, but the first one was good. Lobo is a classic DC villain. He actually was in a recent comic arc of a Teen Titans, and it was awesome. So, and he's in Krypton, the series right now, wonderfully done in live action. So, trust me when I say this is going to be fun. All right, this is going to be a good death battle, and I can't wait. Exciting. All right, with that, I have this episode of Todd Talk. What did you think of Avatar Aang versus Edward Elric? Are you excited for Lobo versus Ghost Rider? And let me know your predictions right now. Gut instinct. Who do you think is going to win between Lobo and Ghost Rider? I'm debating myself because I know things, but I don't know if it's going to count. All right. So I thank you for watching. If you made this far, I know you were listening, and I'll see you around.